Hello, my name is Frank Kutsakria, and this is 5 minutes on the 5 stars and one big down as to why Mayor Pete is the best candidate for the Democratic Party nomination for President of the United States in 2020. So, like, subscribe, and hate and comment below. So, who exactly is this guy? This guy is named Pete Buttigieg. He is the former mayor of South Bend, Indiana. He actually no longer is in office. He will turn 38 on January 19th, and if he's elected president, the day after his 39th birthday, he will be the youngest president elected or ascended to the office. He'd be the only president ever to be there in his 30s. He did serve 8 years in the United States Navy, leaving as a lieutenant in 2017. And most people only know him as Mayor Pete or the gay guy. Yep. There's more to him than that, but that's a short little minute. And he's had this meteoric rise. It's sort of been up and down, up and down, up and down. Latest poll in Iowa has him in a statistical three-way tie. And in New Hampshire has him in a strong second. The Fox News poll, I think it was Fox News, had him up 12 points from the last time they did it. He's sort of had an ascension in both of those states. And we will see why. These are 5 reasons why he could be their best choice and 1 serious down. So, first and foremost, he's moderate. And if you're going to beat a candidate, most people like to choose moderate. He's also from a decent-sized Midwestern state, Indiana. Now, I'm under no delusions that Indiana is going to be competitive. It may, though, actually open the door a little bit to spending there, but Democrats have only won the state of Indiana once in the last 50 years, and that's when Barack Obama was first elected in 2008, and it went back to normal in 2012, percentage-wise. But it does open the door for some of the neighboring states. Probably locks President Trump from opening the board in Minnesota. It does put a lot of pressure on Ohio, which I would say, without Pete, probably would be a solid Trump state. This time it does make it a little bit more purple. Would force even more money into Wisconsin and Pennsylvania. And I kind of think, looking at the polls right now, it would close off Michigan. Now, I personally think that Mayor Pete is much more liberal than what he lets on. That's one of the advantages of being a not quite yet 38-year-old running for president, and your only job has been mayor in political office. There is no Republican or Democratic way to pick up trash. So because of that, he's had this, I'm a moderate Democrat. Well, he could do a little bit of a wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and pick somebody who's on the left to help shore up that more progressive base. He could choose Cory Booker or Tina Smith or Tammy Baldwin. He could choose one of the more liberal governors that are out there, and to help balance out that moderate liberal ticket. Also to keep the far left from going out there and, picking up some strange third-party candidate. On the other end, if he actually is a moderate, he could go out there and try to get some purple state cred. He could go with Amy Klobuchar or Governor Steve Bullock. He could also go down south, Nikki Fried, the agriculture commissioner from Florida. He could go with an attorney general. Even if an attorney general is from a blue state like California, they tend to be, like Kamala Harris, tend to be a lot more moderate when they are a Democrat. And if he does win, that means that there's going to be a major change in what his voting demographic is when it comes to age. So the under 30s right now are all seemingly on Bernie Sanders, but they don't really vote. That wheelhouse for him is that 30 to 44 age group. That tends to be, even if you were a liberal, when you tend to have kids, you tend to be a little bit more conservative. And so that would be the wheelhouse, is the mom and dad with 2 kids, or the divorcee. That would be the wheelhouse for him to get elected. And that would take away something that Trump did very well in. See, people always think that Trump did, he did well with, yokels and Okie Bespokie, but the reality is, if you look at where the votes were, yes, he did the best in 65-year-olds, but it doesn't fall off the map until he gets to about the 30-year-olds. Everything else is competitive. You'd have to overperform a 30 to 34 from 30 to 44-year-olds. And finally, the best thing is progressives. You may not like his stance on God, the military, Israel, Obamacare. Are you really voting against the first openly gay candidate for president? I mean, if he is elected, I know you could say he's not going to be the first gay president. That's James Buchanan. He might not even be the second person on the spectrum. We can have arguments about Abe Lincoln all we want. But it'd be kind of hard to vote against the first openly gay candidate for, to give Donald Trump the second term? Who knows? But the biggest drawback, of course, is, well, he's polling nothing with African Americans and just slightly better with Latinos and Asians. South Carolina polls, I've seen some that he's at rounding error, which is 0. Nothing above 4. Now, yes, the Democrats are most likely going to win African American votes, but are those African Americans going to bring people to the party? Because, let's face it, it is far easier to vote for somebody. Barack Obama in 2008. Ronald Reagan in 1980 and 1984. Heck, even Richard Nixon in 68. Or JFK in 1960. It is far easier to vote for something than it is to vote against somebody. In the last 50 years, when you're running against the incumbent, the only incumbents to lose were Jerry Ford, who, of course, ascended to the office, and George H.W. Bush, thanks to a third-party candidate who took a big portion out of it, and a lot of Republicans being pissed because there was taxes. People didn't vote for Bill Clinton. They voted against they voted for against H.W. Bush. And that's a rarity. So are African Americans and Latinos and Asians really going to be energized to vote for somebody who they don't vote for in a primary just because they want to get rid of President Trump? I don't think so. But hey, like and subscribe, hate and comment below. And the next video is going to be on Senator Amy Klobuchar.